Good morning. We are on the record. This is the videotape deposition of Francis Creighton, taken in re Tobacco Cases 2, relating to Devin Daniels et al. Versus Philip Morris Companies, Inc. et al. Superior Court of California, County of San Diego, Case JCCP 4042. We are in the offices of Vale Christians and Associates, 550 West C Street, Suite 1440 in San Diego. Today's date is Monday, August 27th, 2001, and the time is 9:46 a.m. My name is Christian Tier. I'm with the firm of AJL Video, 1919 Grand Avenue, Suite 2C in San Diego. The certified shorthand reporter is Florenda St. Cyr with Vale Christians and Associates. Video and audio recording will be taking place at all times during this deposition, unless counsel have specifically requested to go off the record. If counsel would please state their appearances, and the reporter will then swear in the witness.
Norm Blumenthal, attorney for the plaintiff class.
Kyle Nordra, House attorney for the plaintiff class.
I'm Todd Thompson of Howard Rice, counsel for RJR Tobacco Company. With me is Mark Holton, who also represents RJR Tobacco Company.
Dan Eaton-Seltzer Kaplan, representing Philip Morris Incorporated.
Kristen Westphal, Greg Carrieware, Food and Rich, representing Lorillard.
Steve Desai, Cedric Turk, Miranda Arnold for defendant Brennan Williamson Tobacco Corporation.
Okay. All set? I swear the witness.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give in your deposition this morning will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God? Yes, I do.
Before we get started, we'll just have a stipulation on the record that an objection by one defense counsel is deemed an objection for all. Is that okay with the defense counsel?
That's fine.
Fine.
Okay, good. Would you please state your name for the record, please?
Yes. Francis Virginia Creighton.
And would you prefer to be called Miss Creighton, Mrs. Creighton?
Ms. Creighton.
Okay, Miss Creighton. And could you give me your current business address, please?
401 North Main Street, Winston-Salem, North Carolina, 27102.
And is that with R.J. Reynolds Tobacco Company?
That's correct.
And if I say RJR, can we agree that that means R.J. Reynolds Tobacco Company, the defendant in this case?
Yes, you can.
Okay. Is that all right with you, counsel?
Sure.
Okay. How long have you been with RJR?
20 years.
Okay. I don't want to go over all your positions. I've done a deposition before where I spent most of the day going over gentlemen's positions. What's your current position, Ms. Creighton, with RJR?
Marketing Vice President for Camel Cigarettes.
And how long have you been in that position?
Since early 1997.
And prior to 1997, were you involved with Camel cigarettes in any way?
Yes, I was in the position of director for 2 years prior to that, also in charge of Camel marketing.
So that would bring back to sometime in 1995.
That's correct.
Okay, and prior to that position, were you involved with Camel in any way?
Yes, I was.
Okay. Tell me that.
I was in charge of the area of direct marketing for both Winston and Camel cigarettes.
And what period of time was that?
93 and 94.
And prior to that, were you involved with Camels?
I was involved with Camels in 1986 and 87 as the marketing research manager.
Okay, and prior to that, Ms. Creighton, were you involved with Camels? Prior to being involved with marketing research manager?
Not directly.
All right. And I take it you came to the company in 1981 approximately?
That's correct.
Okay. And what was your first position with the company?
Marketing research analyst.
And did you, at that time, do any work with regard to camels?
Not specifically.
Okay. Tell me generally, that first position, generally what you did.
I was originally hired by R.J. Reynolds Tobacco International. The 2 years of training in that company consisted of working in the domestic tobacco company in a series of rotations to learn marketing research.
And so during that first 2-year period, approximately 81 to 82, in your position, you learned about marketing research.
That's correct.
If I had to ask you to give me a definition of marketing research, could you do that?
Yes.
Okay. Why don't you tell me how you would define marketing research?
I'll define it broadly.
Okay.
It's the collection of information related to sales or the sales to customers designed to help the company make decisions, informed decisions on the business.
And in the collection of information related to sales to customers designed to help the company, do you also study the demographics of the customers?
We have information to look at demographics of adult smokers, yes.
Norm?
Yeah.
I don't want to interrupt your exam, but before you get into too much substance, I wanted to make clear why Ms. Creighton's here, mostly to you, but as well as sort of for the record, because the plaintiffs have served a number of PMK deposition notices, so just as much for your benefit as anything.
All right.
She's here, first of all, in her personal capacity, because we had an agreement we would produce her for testimony about subjects post the California AG depositions, and so she'll be available for her own personal testimony about that. But also, as to the PMK depositions, there are 4 notices that she is relevant to. 2 of the notices are number 2 and 3. Number 2 concerns Camel cigarettes with a C, and 3 concerns Camel cigarettes with a K. And the primary topic of those 2 is communications between outside service providers to Reynolds about various topics. She'll be responding to all of the topics in 2 and 3, with the exception of topics concerning advertisement placement in magazines. She has the ultimate responsibility for that, but really is not involved day to day, and therefore she can answer questions about that ultimate responsibility, otherwise not, and won't be responding to categories 163 through 180. Then the next series of topics are communications about outdoor advertising of Camel with a C or Camel with a K. Will be responding as to the content of that advertising, but not the placement of the advertising, which really wasn't within her direct responsibility. So that's topics 181 through 198. Then she'll be responding to the remainder, except for the parallel ones about advertisement placement in magazines for Berg, that is KBA, and what's now known as Mullen LHC. Those are 236 through 252. Again, she's had ultimate responsibility, but won't be responding about that. Then there is, again, parallel ones, 253 through 270, that concern communications with either Mullen LHC or KBA on outdoor advertising. She'll testify about the content, but not about the placement. Or that is, she's not responding for Reynolds on those topics. Again, I haven't numbered. I'm not going to go through the parallel ones for the Camel with a K, but it's the same situation. Then on deposition notice number 5, she will be responding to topics 679 through 687. That is the compliance of Reynolds with the cigarette advertising code for Camel cigarettes only. But those topics for Camel cigarettes. Then finally, there's a deposition notice that is numbered number 5, but I think that's a mistake by your firm. You meant number 6, but it was served just the other day, so we'll call it the second number 5. She will testify on topics 698 through 737, and again 792 through 800. Well, let me go back. 698 through 737 concerns generally consumer smoking of Camel cigarettes, advertising for Camel, promotions for Camel, marketing activities for Camel during various years, and then there are 3 sort of similar catch-alls for Camel with a K. Then as to 792 to 800, those concern sponsorship of events as defined in the notice. She'll deal with that as far as Camel's sponsorship of events. The next is the Joe Camel cigarette campaign, and I'll allow allow examination about that to the extent it falls within the class period. Earlier, we could argue about whether earlier is relevant, but she's already been deposed thoroughly about that, and we've given you those deposition transcripts. So, obviously I'll allow limited examination there, but not full-blown examination because you've already got it, and it's just going to take up time. So she'll respond to 801 for post-1992, and then 802, 803, and 804, which concern 3 other cigarette campaigns during the class period. Okay. So that's, forgive me for the long introduction, but that's what she's here.
That's fine. And great, and I'm sure your counsel will object if I go too far afield. I hope he'll show me some latitude in getting into this deposition, because I did, counsel, have some preliminary questions I wanted to get into to kind of get a feel for her knowledge as a person most knowledgeable.
That's appropriate area of inquiry.
And so let me see if we can start out. First thing, I apologize for asking you this because I know that salaries are a sensitive private topic, but I saw in the previous exam there was some questioning on that. And so I would, following that it was allowed there, I assume it will be allowed here. I'd like to ask you what your current compensation package is with RJR.
I'll allow limited inquiry into this area.
And you can be general too. Why don't we start here? Is your salary in the 6 figures?
Yes.
Okay. Is it in the mid 6 figures?
No.
Okay. Low 6 figures.
Low 6 figures.
And you have a bonus plan?
Yes.
Is that in the 6 figures?
Depending on whether we meet our objectives, it has the potential to be in the 6 figures.
Okay, good. And does that potential be in 7 figures?
No.
Okay. Mid 6 figures or low 6 figures?
Low 6 figures.
All right. So we have 2 low 6 figures. How about your stock option plan? As you sit here today, has that allowed you to, I assume some of it's vested? It's a fair statement?
Yes.
Okay. And is that giving you compensation in the low to mid 6 figures?
Below 6 figures.
Okay. That's enough for me, and I'm sensitive to it, and I don't wish to inquire into your private matters, but I did want to get a feel for where you are in the kind of the pecking order of the company. So would you consider yourself a senior management executive?
I'm an officer of the company, yes.
Okay. Do you attend board meetings?
No.
Would you consider yourself at a level just below the board level?
I report to an executive vice president who reports to our CEO.
Okay. Obviously, the CEO's on the board. Is the executive vice president you report to on the board?
Yes.
Okay. And what is his or her name?
Her name is Lynn Beasley.
And Lynn reports to Mr. Johnson?
Mr. Schindler.
Mr. Schindler reports to Mr. Johnson.
Mr. Johnston doesn't work at Reynolds.
Well, when did Mr. Johnson leave Reynolds?
Jim Johnston?
Yes.
Several years ago.
Okay. Do you have the approximate date?
I'd have to check. It's been a number of years, 3 or 4 years.
3 or 4 years. Okay. Again, this is just preliminary inquiry. And biggest, broadest question I think I could ask you in terms of your knowledge, do you know who Dick Reynolds was?
Are you referring to R.J. Reynolds?
Yes.
As the founder of our company?
Yes.
I didn't know him personally, but yes.
Okay. And Mr. Reynolds, you know when he founded RJR?
Camel was launched in 1913. He founded the company some years before that.
Okay. You know Camel and Lucky Strike to be the first mass-produced manufactured cigarettes in the country?
Objection lacks foundation.
I have read in historical documents that Camel was the first nationally marketed cigarette in the country.
Okay. Is there a person at RJR that you would call the historian?
I don't know of any individual I would call an historian.
Is there a person at RJR you would call an archivist, someone that maintains, for example, the original documents of Mr. Dick Reynolds?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. So is there a history of RJR that someone at the company keeps?
I'm not aware of a specific history that's being kept on R.J. Reynolds.
Okay. Ask you some questions. These are going to be questions of the true or false questions in terms of you can just answer true or false. You don't have to give any more information than that. And I'm going to go through those for you. The first one is it true or false that advertising and promotion of cigarettes by tobacco companies, including RJR, is an important cause of children smoking?
Objection. Vague and ambiguous. Lacks foundation. Calls for speculation.
I don't know if it's true or false.
Okay. And what I would like you to do, if you aren't certain, since I don't want you to speculate, but I want your best testimony today. In giving your best testimony today, with 20 years experience in the industry, could you tell me, is your belief, is it true or false that advertising and promotion of cigarettes by the tobacco companies, including RJR, is an important cause of children smoking?
Okay. I'm going to assert the same objections, plus it sounds like now you're calling for her opinion testimony, which is inappropriate here. And she hasn't been designated to testify about that issue at all. Go ahead, but I'm not going to stop you from answering the question. So if you have any more, if you have an opinion on the issue, you can provide it.
And could I ask you to repeat the question, please?
Sure. Is it true or false that advertising and promotion of cigarettes by the tobacco companies, including RJR, is an important cause of children smoking?
In my opinion, it would be false.
Okay. Is it true or false that 90% of all smokers start smoking before they are 19 years old?
I don't know.
Okay.
I would have objected to that as lacking foundation. But anyway, go ahead.
Okay. And again, with your 20 years experience, I don't want you to speculate, but I want you to give me your best statement as to what you know as the person most knowledgeable on consumer smoking at RJR. Is it, in your experience, is it true or false that 90% of all smokers start smoking before they are 19 years old?
Objection lacks foundation.
I don't know.
Is it true or false that more than 60% of all smokers start smoking before they're 60?
Same objection.
I don't know.
And is it true or false that only 5% of smokers start smoking after 24?
Flax Foundation objection.
I don't know.
Is it true or false that the average age of a person who started smoking in the 1990s was 13.9 years of age?
Objection, Flax Foundation.
I don't know.
Is it true or false that one of the principal products that RJR sells to children is doubt? Doubt your teachers, doubt your parents, doubt your government, that smoking cigarettes is addictive.
Objection, vague and ambiguous, argumentative in the extreme, and Flax Foundation.
And I'm not sure what your question is.
Okay. The question is, I repeat it again, and this has to do with addiction, so maybe you focus on the last word of it. Is it true or false that one of the principal products RJR sells to children is doubt? Doubt your teachers, doubt your parents, doubt your government, that smoking cigarettes is addictive.
Same objections.
I don't know.
I'm going to ask the same question then about causing cancer. Is it true or false that one of the principal products RJR sells to children is doubt? Doubt your teachers, doubt your parents, doubt your government, that smoking cigarettes has been proven to cause cancer.
Objection, Flax Foundation, argumentative, vague and ambiguous.
Compound.
I don't know.
Is it true or false that one of the principal products RJR sells to children is doubt? Doubt your teachers, doubt your parents, doubt your government, that smoking cigarettes has been proven to cause emphysema.
Same objections.
I don't know.
Is it true or false that one of the principal products RJR sells to children is doubt? Doubt your teachers, doubt your parents, doubt your government, that smoking cigarettes has been proven to cause heart disease.
Same objections. Argumentative.
I don't know.
Okay. Do you understand, Ms. Creighton, that the class period in this case is April 2nd, 1994 to December 31, 1999?
Yes.
Okay. And if I use the word class period, I'm going to be referring to those dates, which are approximately 94 through 99. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay. It's more true or false questions. Is it true or false that RJR represented to the public before the class period that smoking cigarettes is not addictive?
Objection, Flax Foundation.
I don't know.
Okay. Next question. Is it true or false that RJR represented to the public during the class period that smoking cigarettes is not addictive?
Objection, Flax Foundation. Again, she was not designated for any of this that's gone on up to this point.
I don't know.
And I think she was. Todd, we just agree to disagree. I think in consumer smoking, she comes under that.
Consumers obviously means legal consumers, not illegal consumers. We don't have any reason to have anyone who knows about that, and we aren't designating anyone who talks about that.
Let me see if I can clarify, because I was talking to the public at large, not just children anymore. And so the question is it true or false that...
But hang on. We're not designating anyone to talk about youth smoking. It's not something that Reynolds studies, and certainly not something that's within the purview of a marketer. So when we talk about consumers, we're talking about legal consumers.
Fair enough. Okay, so let me with that point in mind, let me repeat the question, and then maybe that was the misunderstanding. Is it true or false that RJR represented to the public during the class period that smoking cigarettes is not addictive?
Same objections.
I don't know.
Next one. Is it true or false that RJR represented to the public after the class period that smoking cigarettes is not addictive?
Just to clarify, Norm, do you mean after 1999?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay. Is it true or false that RJR represented to the public before the class period that cigarette smoking has not been proven to cause cancer?
Objection lacks foundation.
I don't know.
Is it true or false that RJR represented to the public during the class period that cigarette smoking has not been proven to cause cancer?
Objection lacks foundation.
I don't know.
Is it true or false that RJR represented to the public after the class period that cigarette smoking has not been proven to cause cancer?
Objection lacks foundation.
I don't know.
Is it true or false that RJR represented to the public during the class period that cigarette smoking has not been proven to cause emphysema?
Objection lacks foundation.
I don't know.
Is it true or false that RJR represented to the public before the class period that cigarette smoking has not been proven to cause emphysema?
Objection lacks foundation.
I don't know.
Is it true or false that RJR represented to the public after the class period that cigarette smoking has not been proven to cause emphysema?
Objection lacks foundation.
I don't know.
Is it true or false that RJR represented to the public before the class period that cigarette smoking has not been proven to cause heart disease?
Objection lacks foundation. Again, she was not designated for this purpose, and in fact, I don't believe any of these topics are anywhere within the PMK notices.
This has to do with consumer smoking, Todd.
It's way, 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 way a field of consumer smoking, which means the rates and the manner in which consumers smoke cigarettes. But I guess we can argue about that later. Again, you can finish out your list, but her testimony here would be just for her own personal, from her personal knowledge in her role as an individual.
All right. And I'll just agree to disagree with you on that. It's fair, and I understand your position that she's testifying as to these topics as a personal knowledge. We're taking the position she's testifying to these topics as a PMK.
Okay. She's not.
Okay. And obviously, she doesn't know.
It's my job to designate a PMK, and she's not.
Okay, fair enough. And then let me go through the questions, then we can.
That's right. I won't stop you from asking the questions.
Appreciate that, and we'll go through the rest of it. Is it true or false that RJR represented to the public after the class period that cigarette smoking does not cause heart disease?
Objection lacks foundation.
I don't know.
Okay. Let me ask you this. Is it true or false that cigarette smoking is addictive?
Objection lacks foundation. Again, not designated.
I don't know.
Okay. Is it true or false that cigarette smoking causes cancer?
Objection lacks foundation.
I don't know.
Okay. Is it true or false that cigarette smoking causes heart disease?
Objection lacks foundation.
I don't know.
Is it true or false that cigarette smoking causes emphysema?
Objection lacks foundation. She's not a scientist or a doctor.
I don't know.
Who as to these questions, if you had to tell me in your day-to-day at work as the marketing vice president for Camel Cigarettes, if you wanted to know the answers to those questions, who would you go to at RJR?
Objection vague and ambiguous and lacks foundation. But, well, go ahead and answer to the best of your ability.
In my role as a marketer, I wouldn't be likely to seek out someone to have the answer to these questions, and I don't know who that would be if I were.
Okay. Maybe I can rephrase it better. Do you know who at RJR would be the person most knowledgeable with regard to those series of questions?
No, I don't.